Hey everybody, Cool Cucumber here, and welcome to the vlog portion of Let's Abridge Pokemon Fire Red Episode 2. Rock Hard, I think is what I called it. I'm sorry, you'll have to forgive me, these vlog portions are recorded a full week after the episode is finished being edited. So I'm actually recording this the night before, hopefully it comes out. But, of course, as always, I'm going to talk about some things that I couldn't really discuss video because I was trying to stay in character. And I actually didn't cut out all that much because I couldn't. Which is kind of my first point that I want to talk about. Why is the video over an hour long? I want the videos in this series to only be roughly about 30 minutes long. So this one is twice as long as that. That's because the recording of episode 1, the recording is an hour and 20 minutes. An hour and 20 minute recording was chopped down to just over a 30-minute YouTube video. And it was chopped down to that size because I removed tutorials. That's excessive. I removed tutorials and I removed, like, running back to Pallet Town. And going back to the Pokemon. I removed very little. I'm very frustrated yet satisfied that this has proved just how bad the tutorials get in Fire Red and Leaf Green. Leaf Green being essentially the same game with a different color paint. But I promise I won't harp on this for too long. I've made my point clear. Another commenter expressed the value in tutorials. I agree. I think tutorials, even a lot of tutorials, especially if you can get some voice lines instead of straight text, are really, really important to very young players. And a lot of kids playing Pokemon for the first time might have started with Fire Red or Leaf Green. And it's perfectly fine to inform them more than we were informed back in Red, Blue, and Yellow. But... sorry, these are still unscripted. But even with that consideration, I think that that's excessive, and I'm glad that Pokemon Sword and Shield found a way to toggle some of those. For example, if you catch a Pokemon before you're given the catch tutorial by Leon in Pokemon Sword and Shield, he says, "Oh, you already caught another Pokemon. You must know what you're doing. That makes my job easier. Herp-de-dur! Let's go get a Pokedex." Or whatever it was at that point in the game. I think that's what you were going to do when you get the catch tutorial, but regardless, my main issue isn't that tutorials exist. I think they're important, and in fact, whenever games don't have tutorial options at all, I get a lot more bent out of shape than whenever they have too many tutorials. But I promised I wouldn't harp on this, and I'm not going to harp on this. Because I want to talk about Beedrill. Why I like Beedrill. Why I have this strange bond with a Pokemon that lots of people either hate because the design is too bee-like and bees freak a lot of people out, or that they hate because it's just vastly inferior tactically to Butterfree. Now, I'm the last person that will tell you, "Oh, you have to use this Pokemon or else you're being suboptimal. You're dumb if you use Pokemon you like instead of ones that are super, super strong. Landorus is the only Pokemon for me. Landorus and Mewtwo. And Altered Form Landorus. And Lugia and Mega Rayquaza. That is my entire... Oh, that's only 5. Let me see. In addition to that, I think I'll add Hydreigon. Any team other than this is suboptimal and terrible." I'm being more than a little bit snarky, but that kind of mentality does bother me. And I love Beedrill in part because it's not overly powerful. It peaks very early. And we're kind of seeing that peak in the episode, where Zinger is pretty much at her best right now because no other Pokemon is fully evolved. And even a mid-form like Wartortle is going to be about as strong as Zinger is right now, let alone when Koopa reaches his final evolution. But I want to tell this story really quick. So when I was a kid, I was born in '89. Pokemania hit in about '99. I was about 10. That is the perfect age for the franchise to start. Also, I have the blessing of my father being an OG nerd, playing tabletop D&D First Edition back when it was new, and being a, he would say Trekker, because apparently Trekkie is derogatory at the time that it started, which is funny to me to think that being a Star Trek fan, there's a bug. That being a Star Trek fan would be seen as derogatory or less than, because I grew up in the 90s when nerd culture was really exploding and everybody wanted to be a nerd to some extent, or like comic books or video games well after the fact. And with being in Pokemania, I got into less so the anime. I did watch it pretty much every morning before school for about a year and a half. But mainly it was the video games and the card game that drew me in. And with the card games, I built myself a deck of water energy and grass energy Pokemon. And I felt like almost all of my favorite grass energy Pokemon were poison types. You see where this is going. Well, there used to be a store called Toys R Us. Sort of still is. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But Toys R Us used to be a really big deal. And the Toys R Us in the city adjacent to my hometown ran Pokemon League trading card tournaments, where you could go and you could get your own copy of a badge just for visiting. I think I got up to the Thunder badge. And you would also be surrounded by other kids and other people playing a trading card game. It was a lot of fun. It really was. I kind of miss those days for these kind of reasons. But there was a kid there that was trying to shark people. And he was playing a game where he was putting down a card out of his deck, and if you put down a card that could beat it in the games, not in the trading card game, but in the video games, then you would win the other person's card. But he had been sharking a bunch of other kids, and I came over and I was like, oh, I'll play. Naive little foible that I was. And I put down a Beedrill. This kid put down his holographic Venusaur. I didn't have a holofoil version of any of the 3 starters yet. So you can imagine my joy when this kid actually played by his own rules and said, yeah, you win. In the games, Beedrill beats Venusaur. And I got my very first I won my first holofoil card that way. And I was so happy that I used it in my deck. And it was all because of Beedrill. Something that so many people hate because they think it looks ugly or because that aren't optimized. Sorry, I won't keep harping on that, but it's very hard not to. Praise be the people who love Dunsparce, despite its poor stat allocation. Good on you. Same with Beedrill, same with Butterfree, even though Butterfree is generally more well-liked because of the animo. But I'm not going to keep on harping on about this. I want to go on to my next topic, which is something I mentioned at the very end of the very long episode 2 video. And that's that I have been, in between episodes, filling in the Pokédex. That's because I intend on playing through the post-game, and in order to finish the post-game, I need to have a Pokédex completion of 80 Pokémon registered. Currently, I think we're sitting at about 20, which is way higher than I'm normally at. And I've caught every single available first form Pokemon, plus Butterfree, that I have had the chance to catch up through Mount Moon. And in Mount Moon, something incredibly unlikely happened. Something that, well, I have a Clefable. Now, I know what some of you guys are saying. Well, so? You can get a Mount Moon, you can get a Moonstone in Mount Moon. You picked it up in your video, and Clefairy appears in the wild. Why is it a big deal? Because I also have a Wigglytuff. Clefairy is a 6% encounter rate in the basement floor of Mount Moon. That means if you go down the ladders twice, Clefairy becomes a 6% chance just to encounter it. There is a 5% chance that Clefairy will then be holding a Moonstone. My Clefairy was holding a Moonstone. Against all odds, we got a Clefable and a Wigglytuff in Mount Moon. It made me so stupidly happy and frustrated. Happy because it happened, frustrated because I wasn't recording. But, I mean, this is what I've been doing. This is actually what's taken a majority of the time, as it does with every Pokemon playthrough. But I want to move on to the next topic, and that is the topic that was the title of the episode. Brock. Brock in the anime I find endearing yet annoying. He's probably one of my favorite characters in the original anime, as many issues as I have with it, just because he has a distinctly non-American TV personality. And I did put a little bit of that in his personality, even referencing the drying pan meme, which, as far as memes go, I like it. But I want to talk about the difference between him in Gen 1 and Gen 3. In Gen 1, he was way easier. But I think he was more important in Gen 1. And the simple reason for that is the TM that he gives you. The TM that he uses in Gen 3 is Rock Tomb. It deals Rock-type damage roughly equivalent to Rock Throw and slows your opponent down. This is way more inconvenient for you as a player, especially if you started with Charmander. Opposed to Brock's TM for Bide in Gen 1, which is debatably a near-useless move. Why would you use Bide when you could use Counter or an attack? Well, you wouldn't. But the point of Brock's gym battle in Gen 1 was to show that just all-out offense isn't always the answer. That just bashing your head against rocks won't make them give. And he would punish players for not using strategy. But they couldn't make him too hard, or else the very young kids that couldn't comprehend the strategy would lose anyways. Now that we're all adults and we all know what Bide does, we know, okay, attack Onyx with either a grass or a water type attack if you have it. If not, just plug away until it uses Bide, then buff your stats, lower its stats until it unleashes energy and it does nothing, then attack again. But we didn't know that as little kids. 10-year-old baby Cucumber did not know that. Little cucumber sprout. And so, that's how I learned about strategy in Pokemon, certainly not from the anime. Well, as always, I want to address the comments that I received on the video in this vlog, and again, I only received one comment from the same person. Thank you, Callista Plays, for commenting on my videos. I don't know if you're also the one liking them, but I appreciate it very much. I'm going to address your comment in segments because it's fairly long. Damn, that route was full of creepers and MLMs. Yeah, about that. I may have not exactly been recording in my best headspace on that day. I mean, 2020's kind of been... I think Kedekers put it best whenever he said that the world is bricks right now. And 2020's been bricks. And just any little additional amount of stress from everything that's been happening. And I improvise the trainer personalities. I don't plan them in advance. Almost ever. I did want the Shorts youngster to be obsessed with Shorts on a more bizarre level, but I didn't know I was going to make him into an MLM until after I already had started talking to him. It's very improvised. I didn't plan it out. As for all the creepers, well, I am sorry. I will try not to do that next time. I went way overboard. I accept that. It will not happen again, maybe. Again, it's all improvised. I don't plan in advance, so hopefully it doesn't happen again. Next part of the comment, I love that Zinger turned into a Southern Belle, although I will miss her muffled voice. Well, I'm glad that you appreciated it, because initially, with the exception of Koopa, I haven't planned out the voices of my Pokemon. Whenever I did Zinger's voice, the reason Zinger didn't have a voice as a Weedle was because I couldn't think of one. And so I just made it so that she was giving me the cold shoulder. Then Kakuna could talk, but was so weak that she just wanted to participate, just wanted to matter. And by the time that she evolved into Beedrill, I knew that her voice was going to be more elegant, but I just kind of was initially going to use like a feminine, elegant voice. And Southern Belle just sort of slapped out of my face. Either way, I'm glad you liked it. And Koopa became an edgelord. I do not miss those angsty teen years. He's just too busy looking for that damn 4th Chaos Emerald. Damn. Sorry. Whenever I think of edgelords, I always think of Shadow the Hedgehog first and Kylo Ren second. And then maybe Zuko third. I thought it would be fun to have a Pokemon in the party that didn't appear to like Q. Which is why I knew I was going to go with the voice of an edgelord for Koopa, or an edge lady if Koopa had ended up being female. Actually, fun fact, if Koopa had ended up being female, I would have named her after Bowser's daughter, Wendy O. Koopa. So Koopa's name would have been Wendy. And that's what Koopa means, turtle in Japanese. It's also the name of the turtle enemies in Mario games. And Zinger is the name of the bees from Donkey Kong Country. I don't miss my angsty teen years either. I was like a Black Knight, for lack of a better descriptor, when I was a teen. Always trying to fight injustices, no matter how minor they were or how intelligent I actually was. Which wasn't very. And I had some issues, but the last part of the comment, I'm pretty sure that first rocket grunt you faced was Batman. And this is what I replied to directly to your comment, but it was,
I think you mean Zubatman. Where are the bombs, Joker?
Wait a minute.
Where are the bombs, Mr. Mime Man? Where are they? If I breed you with another Mr. Mime, with a certain incense, a female Mr. Mime, then you'll produce a Mime Jr. Are you gonna turn Tim Drake into Mime Jr.? You monster?
Sorry. I'm not exactly sure where that came from. Again, not scripted. Hopefully still enjoyable. And that's really all I have to say about this last episode. Other than just like, I wish it hadn't gone on for so long. I miscalculated just how intensely long those tutorials and walking to and from Pallet Town took. And again, that's all I have to say. So until next time, stay cool.